Hello everyone, how's it going? We are finally going to take a look at the new pirate Japanese Daimyo. You heard it right, with the new patch you can now play as a pirate Japanese Daimyo. It's named So, and it starts on this tiny island of Tsushima. So let's take a look at what this new nation is all about. The nation of So starts as a regular Daimyo, so the starting strategy is to play as any other daimyo, and you can look at my Oda guide for details on that. I'll leave a link in description. As a daimyo, the strategy is basically to eat up all other daimyos, then take Kyoto from Ashikaga and become the shogun. With So, the strategy is slightly different. You should still go aggressive and eat up all your daimyos, but you cannot become a shogun as a pirate republic. You can farm Japan, but you cannot go with the daimyo swarm strategy for mid to late game. Pirate republics are fairly strong though. The only downside is the hit to absolutism you get from republics, which doesn't matter that much unless you're going for a world conquest. The new tag So also has a unique idea set. They aren't bad, but they aren't great either. They are so-so. They also have an okay-ish mission tree. So starts as a regular daimyo, and you can choose to become a pirate republic when the Wukko incident event fires. This event is RNG dependent and you cannot do anything to fire it. Just keep playing regular daimyo game and it will fire in a few years. In my game it fired super early in 1445. With this event, we can become a pirate republic, which has the perks of being a republic, and you get some great modifiers to the navy as well. Starting as So, we obviously have a very small force limit. So we will build the army to force limit, then start building galleys. And we will also start building spy network on our first target, Aoshi, right across the water. They have a level 2 fort that we cannot siege down with our 3k army obviously. Good thing is that we start with an ally, Shoni, who will be willing to join this war. While waiting for the spy network, if you already are a pirate republic, get to raiding coasts. You cannot raid coasts of your overlord or their subjects, but you can raid the rich provinces of Korea and Ming. They give you a lot of sailors and a lot of money, both of which we will need to win the first couple of wars. Before declaring war, set both provinces of Aoshi as provinces of interest. They might have an ally, but the thing with early game daimyo is that everyone is fighting everyone. So you can isolate the army easily or just go siege down their fort because your capital is on a separate island and your navy is bigger than theirs. So you will win this war eventually. You will have to build an extra infantry unit and go 1 over force limit for this war. But with the money coming in from raids, you should be okay financially. Once I had sieged everything down, I humiliated their war ally and took all their money. Then I decided to full annex Aoshi. The A is a problem early on and something you need to look out for. Who you attack next will depend on finding the weakest target. Keep making claims on everyone around you. In my game, Ito was next as their allies won't join the war at this time. I wanted to full annex them as well, which would have meant a big coalition. So I decided to just sit on this war and I didn't piece them out until there was a call for peace. Now that we are a bit bigger and not a one province minor, it's time to start looking for an ally. Whoever is big on the other side of Japan would be ideal. In my game it was Uesugi, so I started improving relations with them and eventually allied them. There was a small coalition against me and to my surprise, it actually fired. I have seen this in the new patch. AI tends to declare some bizarre wars. I mean, look at it. It was me and my allies, 17k army versus their 6k. That's weird. And obviously I won that war. After that, I decided to get another ally just till the AE has cooled down a bit. Turned out though, my allies were completely useless, as Hosokawa decided to declare on me and none of my allies joined in the war. Surprising, both that all 3 of my allies abandoned me and that Hosokawa AI thought they could take me on. Another weird AI behavior. Anyways, I easily beat Hosokawa in this war as I had the superior navy so I could easily block the straits. And eventually I took 3 provinces from them along with their money. So this is me in 1461. I had one strong ally in Uesugi and now I had truces with most nations around me, which meant I could handle truce timers properly and there won't be any coalitions. So I attacked the only nation I didn't have a truce with and called my ally with promise of land. While that war was being resolved, I decided to attack my former ally Shoni, as they were allied to Visugi, and obviously if Visugi is fighting in a war with me, they cannot join a war against me. From the first war, I took a couple of provinces and gave one province to my ally, and after this it was time to chain war and look at truces to make sure no one joined a coalition. I full annexed a couple of smaller nations, and so had most of southern Japan by 1469. Then I full annexed Tokugawa soon after. The AE at this point is irrelevant really. Then I took on the only big remaining nation of Hosokawa, as Visegi was my ally and Ashikaga had annexed other smaller daimyos. I decided to full annex Hosokawa and also dissolve my alliance with Visugi at this point. I had to sit on Hosokawa for a while as I didn't have enough admin points to core it all, but eventually we got there. Then it was time to attack my former ally Visugi once the truce was over, and obviously full annex them as well. And so finally it was time to take on Ashikaga. And the reason I wanted to take them last is because if I become independent earlier, I might have to fight Ashikaga when I declare on one of its daimyos, and we cannot become the shogun as a pirate republic, so it's not really worth it. Ashikaga was too big to take down in one war though, so I just took the Kyoto area in this war. The fall of Kyoto happened, that gives us prestige and monarch points. And that's so in 1499, a fairly chill game without going crazy aggressive, and we have almost all of Japan, with the shogun defeated. However, we cannot form Japan yet, as we need to eliminate all of daimyos and independent daimyos as well. That means taking all of Ashikaga. And while waiting for the truce to finish, I decided to build up my navy with a flagship and some more galleys. And now we can go harass either Korea or Ming at this point. I decided to wait for Ming to pass a reform so we can pile in the devastation with low mandate and make sure Ming collapses. As soon as I saw Ming's mandate was low, I attacked their tributary Ryukyu, then fought Ming's navy and just blockaded their major ports. The aim is to just keep the devastation ticking in all those provinces. The Mingplosion did start soon after. It takes a while though, so in the meantime I decided to finish off Ashikaga and full annex them. Ming soon had the Shun rebellion and then losing control of the south event, so clearly Ming was done. At this point you could ferry your army across and take some provinces from Ming if you want. And now since there's no daimyo or shogun left, we can form Japan, which I do recommend doing as Japan has better ideas compared to So. You still keep the old mission tree though, which isn't super strong, but now you can play as the Grand Pirate Confederacy of Japan. And that's your So to Japan pirate game. After this you can either go expansionist and go take over Korea and Ming, or you can go full colonial and start colonizing the South Asian islands and the New World and play tall. It's also very easy to harass coastal nations by just using the trade conflict CB. You can get that CB with just 10 spy network, and you need to share some trade power in a node. It's a great way to get some money without any work, as you will always have the better navy as a pirate republic. We'll finish off this short video with some tips for playing as a pirate daimyo. The shogun can demand your ruler for seppuku, in which case the ruler dies, which is really unfortunate, especially as a republic where you want the ruler to live longer so you can re-elect them again and again. You can prevent this seppuku by being disloyal. Early in game, if you insult the shogun and then keep expanding at a moderate pace, you will always remain disloyal, and the shogun cannot demand seppuku. There is a small chance they might attack you, but it's less likely to happen if you don't lag on military tech. Playing as a republic, always re-elect the ruler. It costs some Republican tradition, but it's very worth it. Take all Republican traditions modified you can. Also, you should take the -1 length of election term in government reforms. Remember, if your Republican tradition starts dropping down too much, you can always buy it with military points, but only use this in dire situations. Pirates have 3 factions. Try to keep the Buccaneers in power always, as that gives +1 yearly Republican tradition, which is a huge modifier. If Buccaneers lose the majority, you can always boost them with 10 military points. When you're expanding, watch for rebels and raise autonomy if needed. You should never fight rebels, because at the start, rebel stacks will be bigger than your force limit. Just make sure that rebels never fire. And always be at force limit in early game. The force limit is really small and you need to make sure you're always at army force limit. For navy, you should be at force limit for starting few decades as well. Build about 10 galleys and then start building light ships so you can privateer the Beijing trade node. That will give you a lot of money. And lastly, ideas. As republics, I always open with plutocratic. It is a really nice mix of ideas and they are super good. Moreover, you get some good policies with plutocratic idea group as well. For subsequent idea groups, it depends on what sort of game you're going for. If you want to just chill and play tall, you can go exploration, then economic ideas. If you want to play expansionist, you can take religious ideas first, as that gives the useful CB and you are the only Shinto nation in the world. And with plutocratic ideas, it also gives +2 tolerance of heretics policy, which is huge, especially since you will be expanding in heretic provinces primarily for the first few decades. Diplo and economic ideas are also really good here, and of course, quality ideas. And that's the end of this very short guide. I wanted to keep it concise, as playing this new pirate tag is basically playing as a daimyo and we already have a guide on it. Although forming Japan as a pirate republic is pretty cool. The republics are super strong at generating monarch points, and with pirate republic you can get a huge navy and the ability to raid coasts everywhere. I think I might do a proper playthrough with this pirate republic. It looks super fun. Hope this guide helps people who requested it. Let me know in comments if you have any more questions. You are watching a Radio's Guide. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you all in the next one.